A Night Thought by William Wordsworth, 1770 to 1850. Lo, where the moon along the sky sails with her happy destiny, oft is she hid from mortal eye, or dimly seen, but when the clouds asunder fly, how bright her mien! Far different we, a froward race, thousands, though rich in fortune's grace, with cherished sullenness of pace their way pursue, ingrates who wear a smileless face the whole year through. If kindred humours e'er would make my spirit droop for drooping's sake, from fancy following in thy wake, bright ship of heaven, a counter impulse let me take, and be forgiven. Okay, this poem is by William Wordsworth. He was Poet Laureate for Queen Victoria. He's one of the leading British poets of his time. Mostly he wrote nature poems about the transcendental beauty of nature, and also some social comments. This one is one about social comments, and I think the title, A Night Thought, this is just a thought that came to him, I think, one night while he's looking at the moon. And he looks at the moon and says that the moon is simple and happy and beautiful, and it doesn't worry about whether people are watching it or not. It's happy to be how it is. However, men, unfortunately, particularly those who are lucky and have all sorts of things, and fortune has smiled on them, they seem to be miserable and bad-tempered and depressed, and he really doesn't like that. And then he ends up saying that if someday he stops being happy and positive about life, then he hopes that he will fight this with all of his might, and that that God will forgive him for being like that, for being depressed. So, lo, where the moon along the sky sails with her happy destiny. So lo, look over there, look, lo and behold, look. Where the moon along the sky, so look at the moon in the sky. It's sailing, it's moving through the sky with her happy destiny. She's happy with the things that happen to her. The moon is simple. The moon moves through the sky, it sails through the sky, and is happy with where it is going. It is happy that life is like that. Often, she is hid from mortal eye, or dimly seen. So often she, the moon, so this is personifying the moon as she, often the moon is hid from mortal eye, or dimly seen. Often we can't see the moon. But the moon doesn't care if people are watching her or not. Yeah, the moon is beautiful. The moon is happy with her destiny, is happy with what she does. But when the clouds fly asunder, when the clouds move apart, asunder, apart, to sunder, to cut in two, when the clouds fly apart, how bright her mien. Okay, this word mien talks about the look on the moon's face. Yeah, somebody could have a happy face, a happy mien. Mien normally talks about the way somebody looks, the look on their face, but it could be if they're happy or sad or jealous or generous. Yeah, the mien is there. Also talks about their attitude. So the moon has a happy face. The moon has a happy attitude. She's happy with what she's got. And here he's describing this as something that is a really good characteristic. This is how men should be. And then he goes the other way and he talks about men. Far different we. So we, human, mankind, are very different. A froward race. So froward is a very old-fashioned or literary word meaning awkward, difficult, problematic, causing difficulty, being unhappy about their man's situation. So froward, disobedient, contrary, something like that, with a bad disposition. A froward race, thousands, though rich in fortune's grace, with cherished sullenness of pace their way pursue. So there are thousands of people, not everybody, just some, who are rich and have been lucky. They've got money, but not from anything that they've done, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles. Some people are rich and some people are poor. But these rich people, they pursue their way, they go through life. The moon sails through her way, but these people pursue their way. They go through life with a sullenness of pace, sullen, depressed, sad, lacking interest. So they go slowly and angrily. Yeah, and they cherish. They think it's wonderful. It's something they're proud of, to be bad-tempered and angry. Yeah, so despite the fact they are rich and they are fortunate, yeah, they are satisfied to be bad-tempered and go through life angrily. Ingrates who wear a smileless face the whole year through. So an ingrate is somebody who is ungrateful. They're not grateful to be happy, to be rich, to be in fortune's grace, but they have a face that has no smile, whereas the moon has a happy face. Yeah, the moon doesn't care if anyone's watching it; it's happy with its lot. But these people, these ingrates, are depressed and sad the whole year through. And then he starts to think about his own position in this. If kindred humours e'er would make my spirit droop for drooping's sake. So, okay, if I was ever depressed, let's see, to droop, to hang down. Yeah, so if his spirit droops, then this is a way of saying that he is depressed. If I was ever depressed, if my spirits drooped for drooping's sake, because that was the situation. And here, if kindred humours ever would make my spirit droop. So he's now talking about the humours, and the humours were an old-fashioned form of medicine. There were different humours in the body. I think blood, yellow and black bile, and phlegm. And if you had too much of one of the humours, that's what made you ill. And Wordsworth is harking back to an old system of medicine. Yeah, I think really here he's talking about if circumstance made my spirit droop. Now kindred are kin, are talking about friends and family, people similar. Yeah, but if you've got too much of similar humours, then your humours are out of balance, and that's why his spirits would droop, he would be depressed. So if my spirit drooped, if I came depressed, from fancy following in thy wake, so from following the beautiful way of the moon, bright ship of heaven, I like this phrase, bright ship of heaven, because I think this is a metaphor for the moon. Okay, so if I'm depressed and stop wanting to follow in the wake, following after, a boat goes through the water and the wake is the movement of water behind it. Yeah, and here, bright ship of heaven. So bright ship of heaven, this is clearly referring to the moon, but I think it's also referring to God as well. And he's saying that if for any reason he becomes depressed and stops being like the moon, being happy and upbeat, a counter impulse let me take and be forgiven. So let me have the impulse, let me try to counter this, to do the exact opposite of this. And God, please forgive me if I become depressed for some reason, if I lose my happy spirit, but I hope to fight against it with all my will. So in this poem, he's really criticizing men who have everything that they need, but they're not satisfied, they're not happy with it. And here he's saying that we should be happy like the moon for the sake of being happy, because it's the thing to do. And that if ever he becomes depressed, may God forgive him, and may he be able to fight against this with all his strength. So, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. A Night Thought by William Wordsworth.